The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's a Wednesday, the 8th day of March, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Centra Durham, and Tamara McHale will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Centra, good morning.
Good morning.
How's my Wi-Fi? I'm looking okay?
You're looking okay. You're sounding okay.
Okay.
I'm praying that this Wi-Fi keeps it together because the instructions I got a crash course just now and it made me nervous.
And you know what, Centra? We was both so tired last night. I'm like, no, I'm not going to put this on because then she's going to go sleep a bit stressed. So I'll wait till this morning. And then I'm like, no, this morning's not good because then she's going to be like, oh, no, I hope nothing goes down. I'm sorry.
I think we need a one-on-one.
Yeah.
We need a one-on-one. But last night was crazy. We were both falling asleep. Yeah.
And it was like 5-6 o'clock over this end. And I just, I said to Sherry, I'm like, we can't do nothing in networking tonight. She's like, Jamal, I'm in bed. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, it's hard for butters to adjust, but
Vegas, the first night is always the worst. So today you should feel a little better, but it's not helping that. What time is it there now? Like 4 o'clock in the morning? Yeah. So it's not helping that you're getting up at 4 and yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be any better for you today.
But you know what inspired me? Rosalind Famous, who's very much tuned into the show. She's pretty much one of the people who's been here from day one. And I remember some months ago, she was up watching and commenting, and she says, "Oh, I'm in Vegas," and I'm just like, that inspired me. If Rosalind can support this show and engage in this show when she's in Vegas, then we can get up and do it. And then I thought, oh my goodness, so much preparation.
It is, but you know what? I love the Vegas mornings because you're already on a time zone. Your body is used to getting up a little later, but you get up that much earlier and you get that much done.
Yeah, folks. Well, hey, here we are. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the Director of Workforce Development, Malika Cartwright. On the show, we're discussing the evolving role of women in the workplace because, well, it is International Women's Day today. The daily play is music today. Sancha, I actually bought it. So I don't know what question's gonna come out, but I'm just like, Sancha always gets these so quick and easy. So it doesn't even make sense me trying to prepare one. But anyway, daily play of music today, folks. Make sure you subscribe to our website, follow us on social media to stay up to date for all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to improve our community. All right. Oh, a certain person's up and tuned in.
Good morning, Sherry.
Sister Sherry. Oh no, shut them down, Sherry. We found out yesterday that's her nickname from her colleagues in Bermuda. And then what I learned is I'm gonna start calling her Sherry Dollars because I'm at the penny machine and she's over there raking in the dough.
I said to her, I was like, I'm so sad I'm not there so we can, have some us time. And she was like, I know, you could have did a little bit of gambling.
Yeah. I donated $60. Yeah, I'm good. Nope. Hanging with Sherry might be expensive for me, but hey, folks, we've got a conversation to have. It is International Women's Day, and as you know, with this show, women are pretty much the backbone foundation of what we do. Both Maya and Tamara in bringing the news daily, and then Sherry and Sandra creating the balance and for the conversations that we have. And then there's the guys, Phil very in me. But in saying that, I'm very intentional when I speak. As those who may not have heard yesterday, I'm very extremely intentional when I say and mean things. But question of the morning, I think, is a necessary one, because I think over the years there's this term intersectionality, and I think through that some of the most vulnerable get forgotten. We like to tie in women. I heard Billie Jean King, I think some years ago, about going on about women won the right to vote in 19 something, and I'm like, no, women didn't win the right to vote or earn the right or were given the right to vote, because Black women still couldn't. And I think that we need to be very honest and direct that there are women and then there are Black women.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot be any more clear about that. There are women and then there are Black women. Can we get and come to an agreement with that, audience? Can we come to an agreement? I'm not saying that we shouldn't embrace women as a whole, but let's not act like Black women are not on a different playing field. Let's not act like all women are equal. And so the question of the morning is, what are your thoughts about how can we improve the chances for Black women to receive the same opportunities as others in Bermuda? How can we improve the chances for Black women to receive the same opportunities as others in Bermuda? What are your thoughts on that? I'll be honest, I don't really know. So this is really just throwing out suggestions. And it looks like Sherry Van Der Poel and Karen Simmons agree. There's a big difference between women and Black women. And you guys would know more than me, as you are Black women. But how can we improve the chances for Black women to receive the same opportunities as others in Bermuda?
This is a really tough one. Although I am an entrepreneur, I have put myself in situations where I have worked in, well, we all know I worked at America's Cup.
Mhm.
And I was the first person they hired, Black, female, and what felt like a white boys club, right?
Mhm.
A white males club. That sport, it is what it is. And when I tell you, it was difficult and taught me so much, because I honestly felt like I had to work 10 times harder than anyone. And not just me. There were people, like we talk about Jessica Aswood all the time. She was my counterpart there, and we saw that we had to work 10 times harder in order to show our worth and to be respected. And a lot of times I felt like it just kind of went over their heads, the
Mhm.
amazing talent that they had. And not speaking about myself, but her as well. And I realized that it's almost, it has to be a mind shift. But how do we get to that mind shift? It's I mean, this is how you're kind of raised, right?
Mhm.
How do we get to that mind shift? I don't know the answer to this. And there are some women now. I'm happy to say that there is a percentage of us that are breaking through that glass ceiling,
Mhm.
um, and we're not apologizing for it.
Nor should you. Yeah.
But a lot of times, even like I said, me being a Black female in the position that I'm in, I hear like she's arrogant or she's
Mhm.
cocky or she's,
Mhm.
and it's like,
Oh, they use the B word too. They use the B word. We don't have to be
"Buh."
shy.
She's a bud.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
no, I think that, and I encourage, women coming behind me, or even women that are, kind of above me. I encourage you to live in who you are and do not apologize for it.
Yeah.
Don't, because that cockiness or arrogance, or if you know what you're doing, like, be confident in it.
Mm.
It is
Yeah.
what it is, and don't dumb yourself down or water yourself out for anybody. Like, that's how we're gonna move forward.
Sherry Vanderpool, she actually adds aggressive is another word for Black women. Yeah. Um,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I actually don't, and I'm being serious, not just because you guys hear, but I could not say any of those words. Like, I'm actually, I turn to you guys more often for things. Um, I would want more aggression. Like, I want that. I don't want to be the bad guy all the time. But no, it's interesting how Black women are perceived, and this is real life, because at the end of the day, you don't hear about other women seen as this. Like Black women could literally, express the same behaviors, right, and mannerisms, and you just don't see that kind of response. But folks, the question of the morning: how can we improve the chances for Black women to receive the same opportunities as others in Bermuda? Now, this audience is heavily Black women. I'm interested to know, your experiences. Sancha just shared an actual experience, which I think I didn't even think of that. I thought, oh, her. No, I'm gonna go here. There's this thing where we live in a time of tokens, right? I'm just gonna say it. We live in a time where we see corporate cultures promoting the tokens. And what I mean by the tokens is appointing a Black person or I really can't stand this term, the people of color or a woman of color or a person of color, because, and the reason I don't like that term, again, we're being very intentional. There's a big difference between a Black woman and a person of color. Let's address this. There's a big difference, right? And what that means is the path of a Black woman, if you look at it traditionally, is very different from that of a white woman, Asian woman, right? It's very different. So I think it's only fair to understand that it's you can't treat everyone equal at times, but you need equity to ensure that everyone's treated fairly. And that's why I don't like the term equality right there. Like where equality doesn't address the equitable problem. It doesn't necessarily, say, if we know Black women haven't been given an equal platform to stand on, and then say, okay, well, they have the same opportunity. Well, no, that's not solving the problem either. That's not necessarily helping the problem either, right? So the question is, Black women in the audience, what needs to be done to ensure that you receive fair opportunities in Bermuda? Now, we look at some CEOs, right? Let's look at CEOs. There are few women CEOs, and I'm going to use two companies. They've been friends of this show. I think we've had people from the show, but Argus has a woman CEO. She's not Black. I believe Colonial has a woman CEO. She's not Black. You see what I did there? Now, we do have some Black women CEOs. I believe that Kendra Burgess was the CEO of the Chamber. And I now another Black woman's going there now, right? If you know of any others, Tamara Richardson, CEO of People's Pharmacy. We do have some Black women in those spaces. But why aren't we seeing more Black women in those spaces in major companies in Bermuda? Why aren't we seeing more Black women in decision-making positions? And it's interesting because I think it ties into our guest today, Malika Cartwright. She's the director of workforce development. I'm pretty sure that her predecessor wasn't a woman, right? Now, I want to address this. Just before someone in the audience comes up. I mentioned tokens. And Manuela John, she says, those tokens don't always show support for their own. Why do I think this comment so important? Because we want to ensure that it's not just any Black woman or any Black person. We want to ensure it's the right Black woman and the right person, right? And when we make those mistakes, Sancha, and we just say, okay, they wanted a Black woman, here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let me give you an example. Bill Henberry was the CEO of the BTA, right? And Bermudians were screaming for a Bermudian. You want a Bermudian? We're going to give you Kevin Dallas, probably the most unqualified person ever, right? But that's what happens, right? They give you a token per se. Okay, this is what you want. But what Manuela John's saying is so true. What's the point of having a Black woman there if she's not going to support the rise of Black women in these spaces?
And bring through the rest, which is so important. It's so important. And for me, I know I say this all the time, when I hire people at Nail Bar, especially like young Black females, that is the one prerequisite that I have. You have to be working on something else. Let me help you get to the next level. What does that look like for you? Are you doing university online? Are you, even if you're not in person, like what are you doing so that we can work on something to help you grow? But the other thing that I was going to say, I think that because as Black women, we have to work so hard to prove ourselves, what it has created is a lot of entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? I'm not going to kill myself for you. I actually know my worth. I'm going to go over here and do this for myself. If you look at the amounts of female entrepreneurs, Black female entrepreneurs that have come about now and what they're doing in this space, it's amazing. So it's almost like you forced us, like you forced our hand to show us we can be better. And I love it.
Yeah. Interesting. And I think that answers a question later on we've got, but we'll get to it. Charles H. Jeffers II says, in my opinion, it starts with respect, genuinely respecting the contributions, thoughts, and perspectives of Black women. I hope and I'm being serious. I really do, I'm not going to put it all out there, but even, Maya, I hit her up late last night. I'm like, hey, let me know, all good. I reach out to Sancha, everybody, like, you don't want to be dominant. You don't want to bring people in a space just to tell them what to do. The whole purpose is bringing people in a space because of what you believe they can contribute. So,
but Jamal, that's when you've reached that space when you don't have to think about it and it comes naturally. I think what we have when the issue that we have when we talk about like diversity and inclusion is that you actually have to stop and think about that. What does that look like and how do we be inclusive? When we get to a point where that's not even a thought and it happens like genuinely, then we've arrived. But right now it's so much of that no placement because you have to be shown as being a certain way. It's not genuinely coming from the heart. Like, you know what? This person has that worth and we need to put them in this space because they're qualified for it.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to take Sam Cat place, Sanch?
Yes. Stop making us feel that we need to look like or act like Karens to get somewhere. I, for one thing, am not going to be fake, and honesty should not be perceived as being blunt.
That's an interesting comment, Sancha. Like, I remember I was working in a space and they were basically saying, oh, we would do well to be more like a certain person, which this Black man was seen as a token, didn't challenge, didn't do anything, just went along, and he ended up being an interim CEO of the organization and so on. And I just said, it's very sad when people can use this individual as an example to be like a person who didn't challenge the status quo, didn't try to improve the well-being of fellow people, right? Like, it's interesting. And I just hope that whatever happens with Black women, it's genuine, because if it's not genuine, it doesn't change anything. It just doesn't. Mark Arthur C. Phillips asking, good morning, Sancha. What is the biggest challenge you face as a female business owner? Forgive me if you've answered this question.
The biggest challenge that I face is that I get called those names. Like, she's aggressive, she's angry, she is harsh. But if I was a white male, I would just be strong and direct and a great leader. I think that Black females a lot of the times, and there has been times where I've actually had to, now that I'm older, like when I was younger, I used to just fly off the handle, be like, oh, they just had to take me. I have learned how to curve it a little bit and get my point across so that people don't feel so intimidated, which sometimes I hate that I've had to do that. But it's, and you know what, the biggest thing I hear on a daily basis, which I'm still trying to work around, is people are intimidated by me. I do not like, and I don't understand why, but then I have to I have these conversations with myself where I'm like, Sancha, you cannot control that they're intimidated. That's their own self-esteem, and I can't dumb myself down because you're intimidated by my presence because it's strong, right? And I've learned that over the years, and it's not arrogance, like I say, or like I've just had to learn to accept who I am and roll with it. And if You're intimidated.
I think there's levels to it though, and I'm gonna pick on you guys for a minute. I'm gonna start with you. I think there's okay. Let's use Sherry. The amount of respect shown to Sherry from colleagues in the social work space, right? I think, and the joke yesterday, shut them down, Sherry. You know, people, oh, what's that about? But it gives you strong Black woman feel. And although you get, you know, the audience, you see a Sherry where, you know, it's just the mild one on the show and so on, like she's the, you know, common influence, but it gives you that strength, like you still see that in her, right? And then Maya, I think, you know, you look at her and it's like, people just see this young woman that's outworking, like she's willing to outwork and out hustle, right, to get the story. I think for me, those are Black women whose phones should be lighting up. Hey, we have this opportunity. I'm not saying they aren't, folks. I'm just using those two as an example. Their phones should be lighting up. Look, you know, hey Sherry, I see you on the Daily Hour. People speak highly about you. We have this opportunity. That to me is what should be happening. That to me is the stuff that we should be rewarding. But I can guarantee you there are phones lighting up for opportunities that both can do that are going to others, if you get what I'm saying. So my point, you know, I guess the question of the morning, you know, improving, you know, opportunities for Black women in Bermuda in the same space as others get them. I think it really comes down to value. It comes down to value. Why, you know, culturally, mindset, Sandra mentioned earlier, culturally, I think we just don't value what Black women bring to the table, because at the end of the day, I mean, Black women, be they single or not, have raised some of the greatest contributors to society. So keep that in mind. Let's go through these last few comments, Sandra. We've got Sheikha Reyna says, some non-Blacks in the workplace need to first realize that their ascension in the ranks may not entirely be due to their talent. Then fairness across the board can happen. Well, I think this is classic. And it goes back to the comment I made about tokens, right? I know people who worked at an organization that I once worked at who have been there for 10, 15, 20 years, and they think they're there because they're good at their job. No, you're good. You're still there because you're actually bad, but they know you're not a threat. Like you're still there because they don't value you. If you're still there after all this time, and you're not in the C-suite, and you're not there because you don't want to be there, because there are people who don't want to go up in the ranks. They love where they are. But if you're still there and you want to be somewhere and you're not, they don't value you. You're still there because they don't see you as a threat. They know that you're status quo. You're going to help them get things done. It has nothing to do with talent, but it's people like you who actually hinder Black women or others, not, you know, Black people, from actually moving in spaces. Rosalind Famous says, following up on Sandra's comment a few years ago, the BEDC statistic, that more than 70% of Bermudian small business owners were women. I don't know if that's still the case. That's absolutely sounds like it's probably even higher at this point when you look at some of the businesses at their events, people that are doing them. And as Sandra mentioned, I mean, it has created more entrepreneurs, but I guess the problem is, it's not a problem that's the result, but we have to still fix the workspace. Because if not, these Black women entrepreneurs are still going to face the same issues, not as employees, but as business owners and employers. Karen Simmons says, create their own / respect them, period. Black women have been exploited to advance others, even their survival, feeding, nursing their children. See, now you try and get me go where we were yesterday, Auntie Karen. Yeah, I was trying to keep it on the surface, right? But you are absolutely correct. And I'm glad someone went there.
Yeah.
People, if we're being direct and honest, Black women have been treated horribly. And that's me using a very friendly word today, since the beginning of time. Just because we see a few Black women advancing or in spaces does not mean that we've made progress. We have a long way to go. And it's up to us, not just Black women, but Black people, men, and other allies. And I use the term ally very lightly. It's up to all of us to ensure that we're doing what we can so that our counterparts have the opportunities that they deserve. Kenton Trott says, good morning, TDH family. One of the issues is that in 2023, some men cannot handle a woman who is a strong and powerful leader. Well, I mean, I
hit the nail on the head.
I tell you what, Mia Motley is my favorite world leader, bro. Bermuda is crying for a Mia Motley. You know how they used to say when it's a sun shower, what was the term? The devil's beating his wife, something like that. They used to say back in the day, something like that. Man, that's how I feel like Bermuda's being when it comes to leadership. Mia Motley, maybe I'm wrong, but I love a woman who takes charge and she knows. I know what I'm talking about. She has respect, not just in the region, but the world over. But I think he does hit the nail on the head because we cannot fear what we're telling people we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to bring Tamara in. You're going to get us in trouble, Sandra.
I know.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It's a good conversation. And folks, I encourage you to share this conversation. There are, this show is majority supported by majority Black women. We appreciate everyone that tunes in, but this is a platform where we can have these conversations. So please share it. Have these conversations continuously, not just on International Women's Day either. And know that this is a fight. This is a fight that is far, far from over. We've got Malika Cartwright, Director of Workforce Development, coming on. We're talking about basically the evolving space women are facing in the workforce. And right now we've got Tamara McHale with your news break.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. Happy International Women's Day.
Well, happy International Women's Day to you.
How is everybody doing? How is Vegas?
Oh, well, I donated $60 yesterday to the local government. I'll just put it like that.
That's all, Jamal? Just $60?
Okay, it was 160, but that's not the point. That's not the point. But you know what? No, it was no, it was 100. It was 100, not 60. I made my money back. No, I made not all of it back, but that roulette table, they were cheating. And then, I could only afford to go to the penny machine, and then I got up to 42, or put 20 in, got up to 42, and then before you knew it, I was just pressing buttons. I didn't know what I was doing. It doesn't take skill with this stuff, right? You just press buttons, right? It's a guessing game.
I don't know. I don't gamble.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's got some tips for me, I will sue you if I lose, but you can feel free to send some tips to me, and I'll go out there, try a little something. But like I said, I will sue you if I lose. What you got in the news for us today?
All right. Well, this is, of course, Wednesday, March 8, 2023. And this is the Daily Hour News Break for today, brought to you by the People's Pharmacy. So starting off, the opposition has described as shocking recent remarks by Government Minister Jason Hayward, who dismissed any prospect of cross-party cooperation. So, of course, Hayward, the Minister of Economy and Labor, he used a budget speech recently to make negative comments about inclusion and diversity efforts. And so his portfolio, of course, includes encourage foreign investment and increasing the population. So he told the House of Assembly, which you would be aware of, that he did not want the votes of people who complained that they had not been canvassed by him. In commenting, Michael Dunkley of the One Bermuda Alliance said the minister had thrashed David Burke's call for togetherness and needed to be reined in. So they are not too pleased. Meanwhile, OBA Chairman Aguinaldo Medeiros said, quote, "It's hard to believe that these words were so boldly spoken on the floor of the House of Assembly by Minister of Economy and Labor Jason Hayward. I thought one of his roles was to attract foreign investment to the island, not cause alienation. What was he thinking? To say you don't need anyone's vote is arrogant and a slap in the face of the electorate," end quotes.
So on Monday, Sancha, I did say that I wasn't gonna share the audio because I just don't want to be that person where things are taken out of context. Now, let me be very clear. I'm very honest on how I feel about Minister Hayward and the government. But what I will say is, in context, I really don't think he said much wrong that many people disagree with. I think we have to keep things like this in context. And the truth is, Dr. Ewart Brown, the Honorable Dr. former Premier of Bermuda, said it when he came on the show. In politics, all you need is a majority. Everyone's not going to vote for you. So if 51% vote in your favor, that's not everyone. If 90% people vote in your favor, it's not everyone. I don't really see what he said wrong in terms of, I don't want your vote. Like, I don't, you're not going to vote for me. Where I think the challenge is with Minister Haywood is, regardless of who votes for you, sir, you still have to govern for everyone. That's where I see the issue. But outside of that, I think in context, I mean, you're not going to get everyone's vote.
I don't agree.
Fair.
I don't agree. When we had that, I as I said on Monday, I am disappointed. And when we had that level, now that is arrogant. As a Black woman, say that we would be torn apart. That is arrogance. That is at its finest. And for him to be able to utter those words and it be okay, like, that's a problem.
But you're right. I don't disagree. It is very arrogant. I agree with that. I'm not
okay with it. Yeah. And for him to say, like, I don't want your vote, I don't need your vote, sir. You do realize that the position that you're in it's based on, well, he didn't get voted in, but it's based.
Thank you for saying that, because we must keep in context, Tamara, that Jason Hayward, Minister of Economy, was one of, I believe, 3 people who actually did not face a challenger. So no one voted for him to be in Parliament this go round.
I'm gonna sip my tea because
okay,
me angry.
We just got in a fight, folks. You saw it firsthand. What else you got for us, Tamara? Stop for starting fights.
All right. Well, in other news, a 55-year-old man who lost his life after a recent road collision that was 2 weeks ago. He was yesterday officially named by the police as Bermuda's 4th road fatality since the start of the year. So as you may have recalled, officers found Robert C.A. Simmons unresponsive and lying face down in the roadway near the junction of South Road and Tribe Road, number 2 in Warwick at around 10 a.m. on Wednesday, February 22nd. He was immediately taken to the hospital and he was pronounced dead a short while later. A Bermuda Police Service spokesman spoke about the taxi that was heading west when Mr. Simmons, who was traveling east, reportedly drifted into the westbound lane and collided with the front of the taxi. The police know that there were reports that the victim appeared to have experienced a medical episode before crossing lanes and becoming involved in the collision. However, an autopsy has subsequently confirmed that his death was due to injuries sustained in the collision. So our sincere condolences again.
Indeed, very sad to hear that. What else you got for us?
Well, on a brighter note, as we mentioned, it is indeed Happy International Women's Day to all the ladies, and the government of Bermuda said it is joining in on the action. And so it will also be observing International Women's Day today, March 8th, with government ministers and several members of the public service set to take part in a number of internal and external activities to highlight the day. Among the activities this morning, the Minister of National Security, Renee Ming, will join women from the Uniformed Services Department, Corrections and Customs to greet commuters at the Crow Lane roundabout. Also, the Minister of Social Development and Seniors, Tiny Ferbert, will address attendees at a BPSU International Women's Day event.
All righty. Nice to hear that. And folks, get out there, support the women doing their thing. Fellas, stay out of the pictures.
Well, the fellas can assist.
Yeah, you be in the background, but get I was hoping that I was honestly hoping, but I didn't want to push it to get Sherry to do this show today. But I was like, that might be pushing it because early.
Yeah, let her rest.
Yeah. Let's just
all right. All right, quickly moving to some other regional news. So here in Jamaica, Finance and Public Service Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has announced that the national minimum wage will be increased next month. The increase will come 1 year since the last pay hike in April 2022. He made the announcement yesterday in the House of Representatives as he opened the budget debate. However, he did not state the level of the increase, citing that the Labour Minister, Carl Samuda, is the only person allowed to make the announcement in law. However, he said that it will be, quote, meaningful. Currently, the national minimum wage for a 40-hour work week in Jamaica is 9,000 Jamaican dollars, which is about $58 US.
$58 US is minimum wage per hour?
Nope.
Per week?
For the week.
For 40 hours, you said?
Yup.
Hold on, let me get my calculator. Hold on 2 seconds.
Is that correct?
Where's calculator? Okay, so you said 40 hours divide 58?
Yes, it's 9,000 Jamaican dollars, which is about $58
per week.
So that's rounded up. That's like just under $7. Wow.
That's the minimum wage, so you can understand why people want an increase.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. All right. Thank you for that interesting fact this morning. We're going to talk more about that, folks. We will talk more about that. What else you got for us tomorrow?
And finally, in regional news, the government of Grenada said that more than 21,000 low-income households will get lower electricity rates as a result of a subsidy of EC $10. So one EC dollar is equivalent to 37 US cents. The subsidy will be in place for the next 12 months. In a statement yesterday, the government said that customers of the Grenada Electricity Services, GrenLec, will start to see the subsidy on their February bills. And this is part of the government plan to lower the cost of living for its citizens. Also, low-income households that use less than 100 kilowatt per hour will not have to pay the value-added tax or the environmental levy. So yeah, that's, I guess, some good news there for those persons who are struggling.
Nice initiative. Good stuff. What else you got for us?
All right, in the weather. So in Bermuda, you can correct me if you're seeing that, but that's according to Sancha. But according to the Bermuda Weather Service, today is expected to see some sunny breaks, but also have some showers with a slight chance of small hail. So it's going to be a high to near 17 degrees Celsius, 63 degrees Fahrenheit, and the low to be near 11 degrees Celsius, 52 degrees Fahrenheit. And here in Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica, it's a bright and sunny morning.
I went out this morning and I felt like I was in a hurricane. It is so windy and so cold, but at least the sun has come out to play.
Yeah, here in Vegas, I think it says 46 right now. It's like 46 degrees.
It's cold, yeah.
Yeah. What you got days of the year for Ascension?
International Women's Day.
Oh, no.
Of course. So mothers, sisters, wives, girlfriends, and fiancés, what would we ever do without them? No one can honestly say we don't have an enormous amount to owe to these women in our lives. From mothers who made us chicken soup when we were sick as kids, to sisters who help us decide what to wear on our first date, to the wives who somehow managed to juggle both career and family without missing a beat. Women's Day is all about celebrating these incredible people and showing them how much we love, respect, and value them.
All right.
Give us our blessings, Jamal.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day. I'm glad that you've been blessed with my present. Yeah. No, seriously, I think we have to do more. And again, on this show, we try to celebrate the voices and perspectives of women on a daily basis, not just through you guys' presence, but also through the audience, which is 70% pretty much of women. So we are grateful for you and your voices, and hope that what you say, how you say it, and what you do inspires movement and change that will bring the equitable solutions that we seek. So thank you for your contributions to everyone on the show, and that includes those who are in the audience tomorrow. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of International Women's Day.
Thank you, you too. By the way, today's episode 666, but we're claiming it as a great day.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yes. Yes, we're going to sprinkle some luck on 666 today. Thanks so much. Have a great one. All right, folks, do not go anywhere. We've got the Director of Workforce Development, Malika Cartwright, coming up after this break. We're talking about how the role of women has evolved over the years in the workspace. Stick with us. Sanchi, you're going to stick around too, right?
I might.
All right. Okay.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHP staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. She's Central Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House, One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Make sure you subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond these mics so that we can continue to do our part together to improve the community. Without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. She's the Director of Workforce Development at the for the Bermuda government. Rosalind Famous comment just distracted me about
I agree with Rosalind.
The math ain't mathin', because no, I said we gotta have a future conversation. Actually, yeah, I'm taken back, but let's not get distracted. Let's give Malika Cartwright a warm TH welcome. You know how we do, folks. Get it going, get it going, get it going.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Hi. I'm so excited.
This is my friend. I always tell you myself when we get on air. This is like friend.
Yes.
I have talking about our business on air. So I said to Santi the other day, I'm like, yo, Malika, you guys are friends, right? Because I'm like, I swear I had a birthday set at Hamilton Princess like about 15 years ago, and Malika came, and you bought Sancho. Did you? Am I correct?
That is correct. I did bring Sancho. We were down.
Like, no, seriously. I'm like, did I remember that?
I believe there's a photo as well. I think there's a photo.
I'm gonna look for the photo. But that just shows you, folks. You forget how close people are linked, and good thing.
Great people, Jamal.
Yeah, good thing I had great working experience with Malika, because
Sancho's the only person who calls me Melly.
I do, Melly.
Okay, you allow that, huh? All right.
Yeah.
No worries, but thank you, Malika. Honestly, thank you. Obviously, you have since we worked in the same space previously, have gone on to do some great things. And just for those who may not know, tell us a bit about your background and what it is that you currently do.
So my name is Malika Cartwright. Good morning, everyone. Again, my background has been in hospitality and tourism for most of my life, over 20 years in hospitality and tourism. I've done a little bit of a stint at the Bermuda Hospitals Board, but now I am the Director of Workforce Development, and I'm so excited. I've been here just over a year. I started November 1st, 2022. And 2021, sorry. And I've been here just over a year. It's been an exciting journey, experience, challenge to help support my fellow Bermudians as they get on their career paths to being employed. And I love the work that we do here.
Nice. And I think it ties in. Your career ties into the work you're currently doing. Obviously, we started the show. We were having a discussion earlier about Black women in the workspace. But how do you believe the role of women has evolved over the years?
I'm excited about the evolution. Is it as fast as I would like for it to be? No, but I've been fortunate over the years to work with many women who have been in leadership roles, including when I worked in New York. I worked under some fabulous women. No, they weren't Black women, but they were women. And they were also advocates for me when it came time for elevation in the space. So I have to be grateful and thankful to them. They got it, they understood. And I think that there's still more work to be done, but we as women need to take responsibility as well. And I see myself as a person that needs to be, if I'm in the room, I need to make sure that I'm advocating for other women as well when I'm in the room. Um, so I shouldn't be the only one. You shouldn't be able to just point to me and say, oh, she's there. I need to be doing meaningful succession planning in my space now. I should be working myself out of a job, finding young women to mentor and bring them along. That's how we change the narrative, because when we get into the space, we need to be in the space. I don't want to be, as one of your viewers said, Miss John, Manuel John, I don't want to be just that person who is occupying the space. I need to be occupying the space and making room for someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate the advocacy part. I think that's one of the things that gets lost on us. And you said it. We shouldn't be able to point out that one person. We shouldn't be able to say, oh, well, this person made it or that person. No, that's not equity, equality, whatever you want to call it. It's not. What you're doing is basically just ticking a box. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is embrace equity. What does that mean to you as a Black woman in the role that you're in?
It means fixing the crown of other women and not tearing them down when I'm in spaces, when I'm in spaces and people who don't know now all of Bermuda is, that sounds just my friend. But it be it in spaces where when people do call her aggressive, to point it out and say no, she advocates for herself and she's strong and she has an opinion. It's not filling in with the chatter. It's embracing different diversity of thought with people, because everyone brings something different to the table. And it also means that when women are finding themselves unemployed and they are the default parent to children, that when they come into workforce development, they feel it's a safe space to bring their children so that they can talk to people who can help them and support them to get back to work and not feel that someone is shunning them because they've had to bring their children into the office to do that because they don't have childcare. It is ensuring that not only are we offering services that are online, yes, that is equality, offering something that may be online, but equity is making sure that those who don't have access to online, that they're able to come in and have in-person training as well.
Mhm.
So those are some of the things that I want to see and keep change and be an advocate for here in the Department of Workforce Development and for those women that come into the office, because we need to support each other and not make them feel less than.
So, in your role at the Department of Workforce Development, how do you go about ensuring gender equality in the workplace?
Well, I don't have much to do with gender equality outside of workforce development, but for myself here as the director and the leader and the person who the buck stops with me, what I've tried to do is for those women who have been in the department to give them opportunity to, put in place opportunities for them to excel and to move on and to grow. When I came in, there were a few women in the office who wanted different opportunities. And I have tried over the last year or so to give them those opportunities when they present themselves, be it if they want to take a class or if they have wanted to act in a different capacity within the department. I've tried to give them those opportunities, and also not just give them the opportunity, but also coach them through, to sit down with them to see how they're doing, to empower them to make the decisions that they need to make, but also holding them accountable for what they need to do.
So, not just within workforce development, but just overall, what can we be doing to ensure that women are receiving equal opportunities for leadership positions within their companies?
Call it out when you see it. I've had the opportunity to say, I'm not the, for lack of a better term, I'm not the militant person. But when I do get in a space, I do advocate when I'm there. I've been a part of the Consultative Immigration Reform Working Group and sat around the table and advocated around the table there. I've been a member of Bermuda First. Um, I'm now a board member for Teen Services. I'm also on the board for Bermuda College. I am fortunate to be in those spaces. And because I have that platform, I utilize that platform to advocate for others and to show the importance of diversity and having young, innovative women, Black women especially, um, in those spaces. And that's how I do it, whether I'm making a difference. I hope that I am. I want to be, I have a little girl. I need to make sure that I'm doing that. She's watching. So I want to make sure I have a little girl and I have nieces and goddaughters. And, I want to make sure that I am making space for them and making it better for them as they come through. They don't have to, shouldn't be as hard, and it shouldn't be, as you said before, Sandra, it shouldn't be where we think about it anymore. It should just happen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. So, what do we need to do where we can get more women around the table making those decisions?
I would love for it not to just be on International Women's Day that we talk about these things. This is something that we need to be talking about and creating space to have these conversations all the time. It shouldn't just be on this day that we're doing this. It's almost like Black History Month. We shouldn't just be talking about Black history in February. Black history is all day, every day. And we shouldn't just be talking about, and I think that's the mistake that we make sometimes, is that we have these wonderful, awesome conversations on the day that we're celebrating it. And then tomorrow, everyone forgets about it. These are conversations that should be had all the time and engaging with all people. I see men in the workplace as allies for women when they're in spaces. Jamal, you are an ally for women as you've brought on these different groups of women to be on your show, and other men in other spaces. It's the same. It's pulling people along, and not just one. Maybe it's two or three. But I also believe in leadership at all levels. I don't think that it just means that it's at that C-suite level. I think that it's at all levels of an organization where you need to have that diversity and keep leadership at all levels.
Now, I know this is one of the things I think about all the time because I'm always saying to myself, like, how can I be better with this? But are there any programs that have been implemented here in Bermuda to assist female business owners and females in leadership roles?
I can honestly say that I'm not aware of them, and that's horrible because I should know. But for myself, I know that I try to be a mentor when I can, especially to the women who come into my class. I teach an introduction to supervisory course at Bermuda College, and we have these conversations about. How we can do more, and I advocate and give them different ways to navigate these spaces, because you need a roadmap sometimes to navigate what's happening. I've walked into rooms where I'm the only woman, not just the only woman, the only Black woman in the room, and my first thought sometimes is, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And then I have to sit in my leadership and be like, oh, I'm supposed to be here. There's a reason why I'm here. And I listen and say what I need to say. But for me, anyone who wants to talk about it, please call me, because I'm definitely open to having this conversation and starting, something. I'm sure that there is some spaces out there, and I will be looking into it because I think it's something that's really important. There's so many different organizations in Bermuda that I'm sure the conversation is happening. So that's where I am with that. But Sandra, maybe you and I need to
I
start
know.
something.
I'm seeing I'm happy you just said that because Malika, I've been in that situation too, where I'm sitting in a room and like you almost have to check yourself, and it's like what am I doing here? But it's like, no, girl, you've been longer. Like,
Yep.
you wore your heels today.
Yep.
What about?
Level up. Put on your red lipstick and go.
Yes, I'm happy you said that because I've experienced that so many times where like, and I almost have to pat myself on the back and be impressed with the space that I put myself in to get there. And
exactly,
you can sing yourself praises and not be afraid of it. But what are some of the advantages and challenges that you see for women in business?
The advantages that I see is that there's so much room for us to move into in spaces. There's opportunity there. The challenge is sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time with the right people. Had that conversation yesterday during some interviews, and it was, oh my gosh, they had the opportunity to meet me and the other people in the room, and the opportunity that they applied for may not have been right for them at that time. However, meeting us in the room put them on a path to something else. So sometimes that's just what it is. It's creating the opportunity for others. And it's also just being an advocate and an ally. It's very simple, but as you said earlier in the show, I believe it was you or Jamal, where you said that we're raised this way. And changing mindsets, change management is one of the most difficult things to do when you're in an organization, because you get we've always done it this way, and there's a little bit of uncomfortability with changing. So that's where we're
Interesting, folks. If you have any questions or comments for Malika, please send them through. We'll get through as many as possible. Karen Simmons says, "Morning, Malika. What are the barriers you see through workforce development that affects the engagement of people to the services offered?"
So far, what I've seen is that there's a little bit of pride involved. Some people don't want to walk through our doors because they may think that people will think they're less than, and that is not the case at all. My team that I have here are amazing with the persons who come through the doors who are looking for support. And I think that as a culture in Bermuda, sometimes we're afraid to ask for help. We are very much prideful people who think we can go at it on our own and figure it out. And asking for help, and I think the last few years it has become one of those things where people who never had to ask for help before are having to ask for help and support, and they don't know how to do that, and they may be floundering. I want to say today, please don't sit there in a space and feel like there's no support. We are here to support you here at Workforce Development, and please come through the doors. Young women, please, if you need support, please come through our doors, because we are here. Bring your baby. I have a wonderful customer service who loves babies. Bring him. We all will. I've carried someone's baby around the office while they did an assessment. It just is what it is. You see those pictures of teachers who are holding babies while the mother is there taking class. We try to create that same atmosphere here at Workforce Development. We want you to be able to succeed and do what you need to do. So please come through the door.
Yeah.
Malika, thank you so much for the work that you do, and hopefully there are changes being made in those spaces. I always say it's one thing to get to the positions, be on the boards. It's another thing to leave and with a record and saying this happened because of my contribution. So thank you for what you're doing, and please tell the rest of your team as well, because you have an important role as far as development. Not to be strangers to this show, we know how much government loves us, but civil servants, we admire you all.
We've been friends for a very long time, and one of the things that I appreciate is that we agree to disagree, and we always respect
Yeah.
each other's opinions of what it is. I don't always agree with what you say, Jamal, but
No,
it's okay.
nobody does
It's it's that diversity, and I just want people to understand. And one of the things that I want to leave people with is always work on your dash. You
Mm.
know, what is it that happened from the day you entered the world to when you left? What legacy are you leaving behind? And it doesn't need to be something that's splashed all over the news. It
Mm.
could just be that legacy of what you're leaving for your family, your friends, and
Mhm.
in those spaces where you're important. Just work on that and do that and advocate for the things that are right and good.
Indeed. Malika Cartwright, Director of Workforce Development. Thank you so much, my friend. You have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
day. All right. Folks, if you appreciated that conversation with Malika, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family. Make sure you're having those kind of conversations around the water cooler. I'm telling you, it's much better than politics, especially these days. Stick with us. We're going to take a quick break, come back, wrap it up, give our final thoughts after the daily play. Let me dig in there and get a card, or should I wait? No, I'll wait till we come back.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All righty, welcome back, and thanks again to Malika Cartwright, the Director of Workforce Development, for having that conversation with us. It is International Women's Day. Again, big high five, props to all the women out there, especially the Black women out there doing their thing, leading from the front. Thanks again to One Communications, Lindo's Medical House, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations on a daily basis. It is now time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sancha, are you ready?
I love music days. Let's have it.
All right, let me go in here. Oh. Okay, here we go. Destiny's Child doesn't think you're ready for what? The reason I said because I saw this jelly first, so I thought this might not be PG. All right, she got it. Destiny's Child doesn't think
that all these years. You probably thought it said something else, huh?
Yeah. What's that song? You're not ready for it. What's the song?
I don't think you're ready. My body's too bootylicious for you, baby.
Ah, that's it. Okay, yeah, that Destiny's Child. That's Beyonce and them folks. Yeah, ain't ready for this jolly. See, Sancha, Tamara, and
all our ladies got it right.
Yeah, they got it. Alrighty, so look, let's wrap it up. Black women, International Women's Day. What are your final thoughts?
I just encourage everyone out there to, as I said, let's try to find the way to make this a norm. Whereas we're not thinking about diversity and inclusion, we're just saying it's normal because we're talented. The same way us as Black women have to work hard every day to be accepted in these roles, work just as hard in accepting us and celebrating our talent and kind of, promoting us where we deserve it, right? Malika coming on today, I feel like was a perfect fit. I have known Malika for so many years, and just listening to her talk, I'm like, that's why she's my friend. Surrounding yourself with knowledgeable, amazing people. And I encourage people to go to. I lean on workforce development all the time. Like, I probably shouldn't sometimes. If it's things I don't know, if I'm trying to write a contract where it comes to employment, where I'm like, oh, what is the law right now, and I need a quick fast. It's not just they're there for you. Even if I'm looking for someone where I'm like, listen, I'm having problems filling this role, I reach out to them. So don't feel as if it's a handout. Like, go and use that service. Like I said, Malika is informative. She's encouraging. She's an all around good person. I think I can say, been one of my favorite to date on the show.
I'll say this much. I think when we celebrate days like today, we must do what Malika actually said. Is, to me, days like today are not for us. It's like Black History Month. It's not for us.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not for us when we're doing what we need to do to ensure that days like today become less important, if you get what I'm saying. So if we're doing right by people, if we're acting on what we celebrate, then we wouldn't have to educate as much as we do. And so my hope from this conversation is that next year, this time, we can actually celebrate more Black women in spaces that we have not seen them. I am very intentional and unapologetic in separating Black women from all women because of what we see in a majority Black country as far as Bermuda. In regards to the conversation with Malika, I think it's imperative that we don't accept the token. We don't accept being the token. And we don't support the token. Like she said, we shouldn't be able to pick out that one Black woman. We shouldn't be able to pick out that one woman. We need to get to a space where there are many women who are there based on merit because they have superior qualities or skills or talent, not because we want to tick a box. Sanchi, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. There's something so special about a woman who dominates in a man's world. It takes a certain grace, strength, intelligence, fearlessness, and the nerve to never take no as an answer. And that is from Rihanna.
Oh, all right, Riri, give it to us now. She definitely dominating the space. Used music to take a jump into billionaire status. Folks, make sure you subscribe to our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date for all that we have going on. Don't just follow us, engage with us as well. Help us grow beyond the mics as we do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamel Hart, and my friends, please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.